If you know me, you know that I love to read. I love to read books so much that I wrote some books of my own. So don't question how much I love to read, okay? Lately I've been getting into social media content that is solely about books. So book YouTubers, book Instagram reels. I don't have TikTok, but you could say it's the equivalent of book talk. And someone that I've been watching a lot recently is Haley Pham. Haley Pham is an avid reader, and she has read almost 200 books this year. Even though I love to read, I haven't read that many books, but I'm home for break and I've been reading a lot more than I usually do. So I decided that for this week, I would read like Haley Pham. So this week I'm going to read like Haley Pham. And what I mean by this is that I'm going to go full stalker mode. I'm going to stalk all of her socials, YouTube, Instagram, for book recommendations or things that she's read or currently reading. And I'm also going to go on her Goodreads and see what she has rated, what she's reading, what she's done reading, doing all of the good hard research. The first book that I'm going to start off with that I actually got from the library is Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. Haley has read this book before. I saw it on her Instagram story and she rated it on Goodreads. I am excited to read this. I've read the first chapter of it. First impressions is that it's written in third person. Third person for me is a little more detached. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but it's a little more detached. And so far the writing style is very detached from a specific person's emotions, but maybe that will become different as I continue to read. But this is the first book that I'm picking to read like Haley Pham, so I'm probably going to spend today reading it, and I'll check in periodically with all the different books to let you know what I think about it and if it's worth reading, in my opinion. Let's get reading. Okay, it's the next day. Excuse how crusty I look. I know, okay? I finished Conversations with Friends today. I think it took me like 4 hours, maybe 3 hours to read this book between yesterday and today. Overall, I don't know if it's a book that I would pick out myself and read for myself. I noticed that Haley gave it a 4.5 stars on Goodreads, which in my opinion is very generous. However, between just the detachment of the main character Francis's narrative and just the adult themes that I wasn't necessarily prepared for, not that I'm not mature enough to read it, but I wasn't mentally, emotionally prepared for them. And I just feel like with Francis's detachment, it's kind of hard to read about sometimes possibly triggering scenarios without really being able to relate to the character. And because of that, I just felt like it wasn't a very personable book. It felt kind of like a narrative. I mean, it was a narrative. It was literary fiction, but I just didn't feel a huge connection with it. I mean, it was really well written. And I think that some of the plot really kept me engaged, and that's why I was on my couch reading for 2.5 hours straight. Overall, I don't feel like I'm gonna pick up a Sally Rooney book anytime soon, and for that, I'm gonna give this book a 3. I almost DNF'd it, but then I was like, I had to stay strong for the video, so I didn't. I kept persisting, but yeah, overall, 3 stars. I'm still glad that someone else was able to enjoy it more than me, because that's the beauty of books. So hey guys, so it's a few days later. This book that I decided to read from Haley Pham's past reads is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So Emily Henry is a really popular author, and I actually read Beach Read like a week ago. Honestly, I rated Beach Read a 3 stars. I know a lot of people really love Beach Read, and I think Haley Pham included. She really likes Beach Read. Last year, she actually read this book, and she said in her recent YouTube video recapping all the books that she read last year that this was the most disappointing Emily Henry book that she's ever read. And I have to wholeheartedly disagree on that one, because I did not have high hopes for this book at all because of how I felt about Beach Read. So far, I'm 316 pages in, and so I have this much left until I finish it, so I can honestly finish it today, which I kind of want to. This is my 3rd day reading it, And I think I read Beach Read in like 2 days. So the reason that I didn't like Beach Read was because it took me kind of a while to get into it. I think it took me like 60 pages, and I'm a very tough critic, so if like a book doesn't grab my attention right away, I usually like kind of struggle with liking it. Then once I got into it, I just felt like the plot was kind of repetitive, and honestly the main character was pretty annoying to me. Don't hate me, okay? I like January's narrative or her point of view. I really liked Oliver, but honestly I just was like really annoyed with how she handled everything with her dad and how she just kept repeating the same things. I just wish that there was a little more depth to her conflict resolution. This book is very self-aware, so it's aware of all the tropes, it's aware of the Hallmark movie-esque plot line, and honestly I think it's a really cute plot, I'm not gonna lie. I like the subplots, I like the drama, the conflict, I love the romance because it's very, very slow burn, but you get to see like how the main character really just comes into her own while also like sticking to what she likes. I really like it, and I also like am not devouring it, which honestly could be viewed as like a bad sign, but for me, I'm actually really, really savoring this book, which is something I usually don't do. Like with Beach Read, I just binged it in 2 days, and I know 3 days might not seem like a long time, but for me, I've really been taking my time. Like I think it's taken me multiple hours per day to really read it and savor the plot. And I think that's a good sign because this is the first book that's actually done that for me in a really long time. And so I really am enjoying it. Honestly, I'm like procrastinating finishing it because it's so good. All I have to say is so far I'm enjoying it. And I think if you haven't read this book because of other people's reviews, or you just, for whatever reason, aren't reading it, I would recommend, and I would actually say to change your mind and try it. But yeah, I'll update you when I finish it. So far, I really like it. Finally finished Book Lovers. I gave it a 4 stars out of 5. I will say I was grabbed immediately by the beginning. It was super involving. And then once I got towards the middle, there was a big space in between the middle and then like where the conflict usually is. So I was a little underwhelmed by all of the space in between. I feel like it could have been a few pages shorter. But overall, I really liked the ending and I genuinely enjoyed it. Like I said, I savored it a little bit, but I was also like, I have a bunch of headaches this week, so it's been really hard to read, but I liked this book, so I'm giving it a 4. The next book that I'm moving on to is Summer of Broken Rules. This I saw in Haley Pham's recent video about all the books that she read this year. So I bought it on Amazon and I think it's really pretty. I really like the cover. If there's one thing about me, it's that I'm gonna judge a book by its cover. So this looks promising to me and I'm kind of excited to read it. I've heard some good things about it by other booktubers. So yeah, I will let you know when I start it and what I feel about it. This lighting is so bad. Welcome to the couch. I just got back home from work a little bit ago and I didn't do anything at work. I was so looking forward to reading. I'm currently reading Summer of Broken Rules. I am a little more than halfway through, and so far I really like this book. I think it's really cute. The plot is funny, it's cute, it's romantic, it's not cringy. It's about an 18-year-old girl who lost her sister in the last year or two to a drunk driver car accident and is going to Martha's Vineyard for her cousin Sarah's wedding. And while she's at Martha's Vineyard, she meets this guy named Whit, and they begin to fall in love and have a little romance. And so far I really like it. It's really cute, and so I was really looking forward to reading it. So now I'm gonna sit on my couch, hopefully for like at least 30 minutes, 45 minutes before I have to go do stuff because it is like 5 o'clock. But yeah, if I end up finishing it, I'll let you know how I enjoy it. So far, it's good. Okay, ignore. I kind of look a little rough right now, but it's okay. Okay, so last night I finished Summer of Broken Rules. It was a really good book. I rated it a 4 out of 5 just because I thought it was really cute, but I will probably never think about it again. This is a 4 out of 5, but I really enjoyed it. It was really good. Finished that last night. Then this morning, moved on to Better Than the Movies, which is an infamous book if you are part of the Reader Pop community, the Haley fam Reader Pop community. Let me just say, I didn't know if it was gonna live up to the hype. I didn't know. I started reading it this morning, finished it 4 hours later. Wasn't planning on doing that for my day. That was not part of the plan at all, but I finished this entire book. Let me just say, it is so good. I rated it 5 out of 5, and I can understand why Haley fam loves this book. I think it's my new comfort rom-com book, and I'm low-key sad that I didn't buy this. Maybe this week, if I get paid, I'll buy it because it was phenomenal. Like, from the romance to the plot, it was everything that you would expect out of a rom-com. It was like, you know, super stereotypical, but for some reason that was just so comforting. It was a little self-aware in the fact that it was like your stereotypical rom-com, but it was beautifully written. Like, everything, all the tropes, all the stereotypes were like beautifully fulfilled. It wasn't like it was trying to be something it wasn't, if that makes sense. It was just so unapologetically itself. And honestly, it was better than the movies, pun intended. But yeah, I loved this book so much. With that being said, that wraps up the book list for reading like Haley fam for a week. And I wanted to just do a little run through of the books that I enjoyed, like from least enjoyment to most enjoyment. My least enjoyed book was Conversations with Friends. I just personally, it wasn't for me, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't a good book. And, you know, I'm glad that I read it because it was still popular. And this got me out of my book, like, comfort zone, because I've been reading a lot of, you know, book talk famous romances, and I think that can get a little stale sometimes. So this was a good refresh, but it definitely made me crave the book talk romances. I think I gave this a 3 stars out of 5, and I'm sticking by that just because it wasn't my personal favorite, but it was still really well written. These two are at a tie because they're both summer romances, but this one is definitely more mature than The Summer of Broken Rules. This one's definitely for a younger audience, but I will say they're both incredibly well done. I finished The Summer of Broken Rules in 2 or 3 days, like across a span of 2 or 3 days. This one took me 4 days, which I consider a little bit longer for me to read than normal books. I really, really liked this one. It was super good. It was mature, but it also gave you those butterflies. It was a very slow burn. This one, on the other hand, wasn't super slow burn, but it gave you all those butterflies, and it was exciting and right off the bat, like very just engaging and interesting all the way to the end. So I rated these both 4 stars just because I really enjoyed them, but I don't think I'll be thinking about them all the time, nor will I want to ever like reread them, but both really good. And then this one is a 5 out of 5 for me. I'm usually not a book rereader, but I was thinking about this book while I was reading it, and I was like, this is something I could definitely reread. I just loved it so much. I can see why Haley fam also enjoys it so much. I think Lynn Painter's books are definitely going to be on my TBR for this year because her writing style is very engaging and young without being cringy or too, you know, trying to be Gen Z. It's just very natural, and I really enjoy that. So this was my favorite book out of the week. It was fun reading like Haley fam for the week. I feel like she definitely has similar tastes to me, and also there were other books that I probably wouldn't have read otherwise. I feel like I definitely wouldn't have read Conversations with Friends. Also probably wouldn't have read this one unless she recommended it. So overall, I think it was a success, and it got me to 3 books so far for the year. So I'm excited for that too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see me read like more influencers or celebrities in the future, comment them down below and I will definitely read like them. Okay, I will see you in the next video. Peace.